All right, guys, join me for a serious conversation this morning. I have to go do my laundry in a minute. So I had the police call me last night because my husband, and he is still my husband, told them that there was identity theft on his card after knowing that I took out, with his permission, pre-approval permission, not only pre-approval, but being in charge of all the finances as his wife, permission to handle the finances. He called the police. He put in a report to the police that there was identity theft, knowing that his spouse, the credit card company, told him that his spouse had taken out basically a joint credit card with his permission. I don't think they said that, but it was with his permission. So when your husband puts you in charge of the finances and he doesn't want to deal with finances, and then because you're going through a divorce, he turns around and he tries to use it against you, then the police call you. What happened? Let me see. So yeah, back in 2017, okay, so we had this trailer and it's falling apart, and he's like, yeah, go ahead and, take out a credit card in my name. You handle it. He never wanted to handle finances. So he went to Lowe's with that credit card and got some stuff to try to fix up the trailer. So the trailer was just, there was too much to do. So that was kind of like he brought some panels, kind of a waste of money for that. So we moved on, and he never took care of that credit card. He just never did. He never cared about it. He never took care of it. So last night when the police called, they were like, this is so and so, with the police. And I'm thinking, okay, they want some money, right? Because the police call you sometimes to ask for a donation. So I'm just like, yeah. And so they're like, we're calling about your soon to be ex husband. And I'm thinking, okay, car crash, motorcycle crash, right? Something like that. So they're like, he was here a couple nights ago or whatever, filling out a report about identity theft, and so we're calling you. And I'm like, trying to process this, and I'm pretty calm during trials. I always am. And I'm like, okay, so not an accident. I'm like, oh, okay, to myself, yeah, I know what this is about, because I already knew about this. So he's like, so your soon to be ex husband. And I'm thinking, what does this have to do with anything with a credit card, right? Yeah, he's soon to be my ex husband. He's like, so basically, he filled out this report and da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, so do you have a copy of that report for me? Can you put this in writing? And he's like, well, you can go on our website and get a copy of it if you want. He's like, so it says that he's saying you opened up a credit card. I'm like, yeah, with his permission, I did. So he's like, oh, okay, so you did. I'm like, yeah, I did. I'm not gonna lie about this. And he's like, okay, so your address is this. Yep. So he's like, I'm like, yeah, I had his permission. He goes, okay. And I'm like, yeah, it's a joint account. He's like, oh, it's a joint account. He's like, okay, so why don't you send me some information? And I'm like, yeah, happy to assist you. So I sent him an email letting him know that I had just talked to the credit card company, because I have been in communication with them. I contact my bills. I contact them. I am always in communication at some level about any bills I have. Years ago, this happened where my husband, he said I had gone to him and said, hey, the bank wants some money. What do you want to do here? I'm like, we're a little bit behind on the mortgage. It was only like $110 or something like that. And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, look, I need your help. What do you want to do? He's like, I don't know. I don't care. And so I had nobody, right, with the finances. I'm like, what? You don't care? Okay, so I'll call the bank again, get a deferment, He's like, yeah, just do that. Just do a deferment. So I did that. And then I called the bank again another time, and they're like, we can't do a deferment this time. I'm like, what do you want to do? Oh, I don't know. So I called his mother because his mother was on the loan. She co-signed it, and she was not happy. So once she called him over to his house, she blasted him pretty badly, and his father shamed him and everything. And so so instead of taking responsibility and being like, yeah, I told Melissa, don't worry about it, just get deferment or whatever, he lied to them saying, oh, yeah, I didn't know anything about it. I had no idea. Same with the electric company. I'm like, look, we owe the electric company some money. What do you want to do? I don't know. I don't care. I'm the one calling them saying, look, we'll make a payment arrangement with you. And then that fell through, and we didn't have electricity that night. They shut it off, and I'm like, what do you want to do? So he ran to his parents for money for the electric company. And this is with a low paying job, right? So his mother's like, oh, she's a gold digger and everything, when we're living on like nothing. Okay, nothing at all. We had 3 kids. I'm home with them, trusting him to take care of us. He doesn't want to deal with the finances. He doesn't want to get more work, etc. So then, when was it? Another time I'm like, look, you deal with the finances. I had gotten some advice, and this lady's like, let him deal with the finances. I'm like, okay, so go ahead, you deal with the finances. So he's like looking at the piece of paper, and he's trying to deal with the finances, and he's like, I can't do this. He's like, I can't figure this out. And I'm like, okay, then don't complain when I'm doing the finances. So then we were over at his parents another time, and they're like, Melissa, we don't know how you do it. How in the world do you do it with all your kids with such a little bit of money? And I'm like, I don't know. I just do it. So I am very creative with my finances. I will ask for help. I will get resources. I will call a credit card company and be like, okay, I'm going to use this credit card now to take care of the last credit card that my husband didn't want to take care of, which is like $178 on there left. And so he stopped sending me money. He didn't want to work with me. He didn't want to talk to me. I took this out in September. He filed for divorce in February. So there was no, oh, we're going for a divorce, so now I'm going to, ruin you financially. There was none of that. So I think the balance is like, I told the officer last night, I had talked to the credit card company. They send me emails. I gave him the emails of this credit card and the last one. And I'm like, okay, so we owe like $579.79. And I have, I sent him an email with the payment that I made in January. And then my husband filed in February. So that, and he stopped sending, money. So he only sent like $120 from there, something like that. So that credit card is not priority when I'm trying to take care of rent and food on the table. So now he's complaining that this is affecting his credit. Well, the credit card before is still there that he didn't care about, and that should be affecting our credit, along with this credit card affecting our credit. So I told the police officer, this is our credit card and this is our finances. We're still married. He doesn't want to send money to his wife. Most wives pay the bills. Most wives take care of the finances while they're out working. So that's kind of the situation. And so I think because there wasn't much of a charge, I don't think it's going to be, extradited or anything. Like I'll be extradited to New Hampshire. I don't think so over this. But that's what I got going on. And when divorce comes, all of a sudden, this is a problem, right? It wasn't a problem before, but now all of a sudden, it's an issue. So this is the latest in my divorce and what's going on. So I would definitely protect yourselves, ladies, from any kind of financial issue in your marriage. Make sure your husband has, make sure he takes responsibility for the finances. Don't pick up everything to try to help your husband. Don't do that. Okay, thanks for joining me, guys.